Hi everyone, so today we have a 2020 election prediction between Bernie Sanders, the Democrat independent senator from Vermont, and Donald Trump, who currently resides in Washington, D.C., but who used to live in the state of New York. So there's been a lot of updates to the GAP MS map, I guess. So the thing actually appears in the middle, which is pretty interesting. That's just the paint stuff. And then, yeah, so I really like this new tool that I'm going to be using for all my videos. Again, it has a Democratic primary, it also has a Republican primary, and so that's pretty interesting just to, I guess, look at. I might be doing a GOP primary soon, yeah, so Donald Trump, let's now go through some of these safe states for Trump. So Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, most of Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and West Virginia. So Trump has 125 electoral votes. For Bernie Sanders, Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, New Mexico, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, New York, and that first district in the state of Maine. So we have 188 electoral votes for Bernie Sanders, 125 for Donald J. Trump. So where can Trump kind of make some of this up? He can make it up in Texas. I see the president winning in Texas against someone like a Bernie Sanders. I also see him, excuse me, I also see him winning in the state of Georgia. I don't think that would be very difficult for him to do, and also the state of North Carolina. So those two states I see narrowly going to Donald Trump. As for Bernie Sanders, he would easily carry New Hampshire. It's next to Vermont. He overwhelmingly won the 2016 primary in the state of New Hampshire. I also see him overwhelmingly winning Maine at large. That second district is going to be really, really close. But at the end of the day, I actually think Bernie Sanders could win in this district, just because they just elected a Democratic representative into Congress. Trump's approval rating not too good right now. I see Bernie Sanders narrowly winning in Maine's 2nd congressional district. So 195 for Bernie Sanders, 194 for Donald Trump. Where can Bernie Sanders expand his lead? He can expand it in the state of Colorado. That he was going to easily win that state. He can also win in Virginia. Those two states have been trending Democratic in recent years. He could also win in the state of Nevada, which Democrats won both statewide contests this year. They won all the competitive House seats. Definitely Democrats doing well in Nevada, Colorado, and Virginia. Now, you may say, well, with the controversy surrounding Ralph Northam, the current Virginia governor, who is a Democrat, I don't think it will necessarily carry over into Bernie Sanders, as I believe he's one of the 2020 Democrats who have condemned Ralph Northam in the state of Virginia. So 194 for Donald Trump, 223 for Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, I see him winning the state of Minnesota. I don't think it would be very difficult for him to do. He has a strong Midwestern appeal. I think he would carry the state of Minnesota. I also see him carrying Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. That officially puts him over the line of 270, and he is going to be the next president of the United States, according to my prediction. Sorry about that. So yeah, I see him winning those 3 states. Now, I also see him carrying the state of Ohio very, very narrowly. Now, my reasoning... Oh, sorry, I just need to give reasoning for Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. All 3 states re-elected Democratic senators. All 3 elected or re-elected Democratic governors. And in all 3, except for Wisconsin, Democrats made gains in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's something that is pretty impressive for a party, and they definitely are Democratic states. And I see all 3 states going over to Bernie Sanders. The populists also did quite well in the Midwest. We saw Tammy Baldwin, a populist in Wisconsin, win re-election. We saw, and yeah, we saw a lot of people like that winning in the Midwest. And now I also see Ohio going to Bernie Sanders. Now Ohio, it's an interesting state because it definitely leans Republican. I'm not going to argue with that. However, with the state of Ohio, they just re-elected a Democratic senator by 7 points. He was a populist. He was a progressive. And that populist progressive message definitely resonates in the state of Ohio. I see Bernie Sanders narrowly taking that state. I also see him narrowly taking Iowa. Now, with the state of Iowa, interesting state. Trump's approval rating right now has just nosedived in the state of Iowa. I see Bernie Sanders narrowly taking that, especially if Democrats put up someone like a J.D. Scholten, who would be able to win the Iowa Senate race against Republican incumbent Kim Reynolds, or it might be Kim Reynolds or Joni Ernst. I'm not quite sure. One of them's the senator, one of them's the governor. I think it's Kim Reynolds who is in the Senate, and then Joni Ernst. Oh no, it might be the other way around. Anyway, whatever. Either Kim Reynolds or Joni Ernst. I see J.D. Scholten probably winning over both of those. If, Democrats can find another good candidate, they will probably be able to win against the Republican incumbents in the Senate race, and I see that would be carrying over into the presidential race for Bernie Sanders to pick up the state of Iowa. In the state of Nebraska, I see that one narrowly going to Bernie Sanders as well. Again, Bernie Sanders can win in the Midwest. He's proven that in the 2016 primaries, and his candidates proved that in the 2018 midterms. And I see Bernie Sanders narrowly taking the 2nd district in the state of Nebraska. So 304 for Bernie Sanders, 194 for Donald Trump. I see Trump carrying the state of Arizona. Now, here's the thing with the state of Arizona. With Arizona, interesting state. It's trending Democratic, but I don't see that trend carrying over fast enough for Bernie Sanders to win. He's not the right candidate to win in Arizona. He's the right candidate to win in the Rust Belt, but not the right candidate to win in Arizona, and I see Trump carrying Arizona. In the state of Florida, that's going to be very close, but I've got to give this one to Trump. I really just need to give this to Trump. Now, reasoning behind this. 2018 midterm results. Governor's race. Another Republican in the governor's seat. In the Senate race, Republicans picked up a Senate seat. Democrats fell short in some of the congressional districts. This state is really showing its Republican lean, if you will. Now, I definitely see Florida being in the leaning Republican column and narrowly going to Trump in a matchup with Bernie Sanders. So that's it for today's video, guys. Final, electoral tally. 304 for Bernie Sanders, consisting of 188 in the safe column, 44 in the likely column, 72 in the leaning column. For Donald Trump, 234 total, 125 in the safe column, 38 in the likely column, 71 in the leaning column. Thank you for watching this video. Comment down your suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.